Good evening everyone and welcome to the education segment of Technology Today. I am your host Dr. Richard Carter. We are privileged to have with us, today, an advocate for social change in education, Miss Holly K. Ferguson. Help me to welcome her to the set.
Thank you, Dr. Carter, for inviting me. It is truly an honor to partner with other leaders in education such as yourself.
Miss Ferguson has a rather unique career path, which benefits the education industry at both the K-12 and higher education levels. Holly, if you could share a little about your background and experience and how it ties to educational technology, that would be great.
Certainly. I possess a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Management Information Systems from the Xavier University, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Additionally, I possess graduate-level studies in school and mental health counseling, also from Xavier University, which helped me to transition from a primarily technical to an education-focused background as a technology professional. Due to the same, I am well-versed on cognition and how humans develop and the various stages involved in the life cycle. I have also earned my Master's in Education, with studies in General Education, from the Union Institute and University, where most of my research consisted of studying social justice and learning environments. I am currently pursuing a second master's degree, but in educational technology, which will equip me with the knowledge necessary to continue onward and apply knowledge that I acquired toward doctoral studies in software development for the education sector.
Wow! That is quite impressive, Miss Ferguson. So, how did you develop a passion for student advocacy and being an active participant in righting any wrongs at the state level, as it relates to policies or practices in education?
That is a great question, Dr. Carter. My passion developed early in my career as an information technology professional while working for a major supply chain and grocery distributor in the Cincinnati, Ohio area nearly 10 years ago. It was at that time where I volunteered and partnered with the state of Ohio to tutor and mentor students who had learning deficiencies, as it relates to academic performance. Some students faced challenges in their ability to retain new content taught by the teacher while in the classrooms. It was a part of an effort to bridge the gap between the schools and community. Since that time, I have tutored and mentored children in elementary grades, provided one-on-one counseling under supervision to high school students, as well as advocated for students and their parents in public, as well as private school sectors. I have enjoyed my time spent empowering parents by transferring knowledge about educational practices and policies, that their families might benefit from the same.
Thank you, Miss Ferguson, for that thorough introduction. I am sure that your contributions to society are appreciated by those whose lives you have touched. So, are you currently a teacher or instructor in academia?
No, I am not an instructor in K-12 schools. However, my career is served as a developer and systems analyst, where the same has been spent in academic settings, as well as large corporations in the country.
So, what I am hearing you say is you have an extensive background in supporting technology in education environments, as well as for corporate businesses. Is that correct?
Yes, Dr. Carter. That is accurate.
Audience, each year reports are generated and distributed to parties of interest in education systems around the United States by the national government. Other partners in education have joined forces with reporting future plans and direction of the United States Department of Education. The New Media Consortium is instrumental in communicating to the public and educational leaders about projected changes that could impact learning. The NMC or New Media Consortium released a 2012 Horizon report that addressed emerging technology topics that cover key trends, challenges and plans for uses of technological advancements in the classroom, as well as projected delivery of adopting certain practices in education. Miss Ferguson, I am wondering if you would be willing to enlighten, share, and talk about the pros and cons with our audience of some of the topics covered in that particular report.
It would be my pleasure, Dr. Carter. I was introduced to the report recently while studying at Boise State University. The report, as you mentioned, highlights key trends and plans to adopt certain practices as it relates to using technology in the classroom. Because I am interested in researching more about application developments that involve human interaction computing, I found that the use of iPads in the classroom was a great way to improve learning for all students, especially those individuals with known learning disabilities such as autism. The report identified that the same technology would be utilized in the schools to allow for a more interactive learning experience with sight, touch and sound sensory responses from the iPad. The same would not deny any child from experiencing a free and appropriate education in a least restrictive environment. Furthermore, it would not require the parent to fund the use of such advancements directly, rather the state would include in their normal.
That is interesting to hear and obviously something that many can benefit from in the future. I am certain learning about the plans for iPad integration in the classrooms was music to your ears since you have studies in mental health, cognitive development and social justice.
Definitely. However, there are some discussions around interests that they are referring to as flipped classrooms and BYOD or bring your own device technological shifts in education.
Really? So it sounds as if there are possible impacts to using technology in the classrooms. Is that correct?
Yes. That is certainly the case, Dr. Carter. What is uncovered in the same NMC Horizon report of 2012 is that bring your own device programs and flipped classrooms would run counter to social justice.
Really? How so?
I'm glad you asked. Apparently, as part of the initiative of adopting practices that are being referred to as flipped classrooms, students who have internet access in the home will benefit from enhanced learning experiences through video and media while outside of the learning environment. However, I question what the same means for those families who are classified in the lower economic status. Conversely, it is disturbing to learn that educators are jumping on board with such to take place when students living in poverty are less likely to have parents who value an internet connection in the home above feeding their families. In order to overcome this challenge, the U.S. Department of Education needs to look into offering grant assistance to cover the cost of internet provider access, including monthly expenses associated with setups and reconnections.
Wow. Holly, you raise a valid point, and it appears to me, although I have not read the report, that much research needs to be explored before they move forward or adopt such practices.
You bet, Richard. More research and studies need to be conducted because a flipped classroom runs counter to social justice in education and could lead to court hearings all over the country. And, with this economy, the last thing we need is more ways to fall into debt.
I totally agree. So, can you share more about the findings of the report?
Of course. The other concern I have for adopting practices related to integrating technology in the classroom is related to the Bring Your Own Device program. At a high level, it sounds great. However, from a lower level view and after reading through the lines, it was apparent that the same program does not, once again, consider students living in poverty. The BYOD or Bring Your Own Device program states that students who own smartphone devices will have an opportunity to benefit from advanced learning experiences in the classroom. My problem with the same is regarding the ability for some families to keep their cell phone bills paid. Many families who live in poverty are barely able to feed their children and clothe the entire family and even struggle with finding money to get to work each day. Therefore, what makes the government think that extending additional expenses to households that are in poverty or otherwise living check to check is the best option for all students?
I am speechless. This is all great information. Please tell our audience how they can learn more about educational plans for this country.
Well, the NMC report can be located via their website at nmc.org. However, a great resource is the U.S. Department of Education website, which can be accessed at www.ed.gov. Conversely, for those who want to review statistics and other meaningful data reported quarterly in K-12 and higher education levels, the nces.ed.gov website may be of value.
Thank you so much for visiting with us today. We really appreciate the time you have taken.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me.